How do you start, manage, and end a business meeting or a decision-making conversation effectively in English, ensuring that by the end, everyone is satisfied? It's not an easy task. Whether you regularly host meetings but struggle with the confidence of doing them in English, or you're unexpectedly tasked to lead a discussion in English at the very last minute, this lesson today is going to help you do all of that. We're going to focus on 10 essential strategies for successful meetings and business conversations in English. Along the way, you'll also learn essential phrases. If you don't already know, I'm Anne-Marie with Speak Confident English. Everything I do is designed to help you get the confidence you want for your life and work in English. One way I do that is with these weekly Confident English lessons, where I share with you confidence and fluency building strategies, advanced level vocabulary, and targeted lessons on communication skills, like in this lesson today. If you find this lesson helpful, be sure that you subscribe to my Speak Confident English channel so that you never miss one of these weekly Confident English lessons. Now, if you've ever done a quick Google search on how to lead a successful meeting in English, I'm certain that you've found articles highlighting the importance of starting and ending on time, creating an agenda, and so on. All of that is true, and we will highlight some key phrases for all of those steps today in this lesson. But we're going to go much further. You'll also gain lesser known strategies for overall preparedness and smooth communication. Ultimately, everyone will walk away from the meeting or discussion knowing that it was worth their time and with clarity on what's going to happen next. Here's a quick snapshot of the 10 strategies we're going to walk through step by step. Set and share your agenda, prepare your key points, determine and communicate the purpose, open the meeting and provide initial updates, model active listening skills, be ready to ask targeted questions, and minimize off-track conversations. Say your point and stop talking. Give thanks where thanks is due. And finally, close with your action steps. Before we jump into strategy number 1, let's talk a moment about preparation. If you've been tasked with leading a meeting or a discussion in English and you're struggling with confidence, if you're feeling nervous and staying awake at night, never underestimate the power of practicing by speaking out loud. This is a strategy I talk about in depth in my How to Say What You Want training, which is a free training available at my Speak Confident English website. After we go through these strategies today, I recommend that you download that training and use what you learn there to help you be prepared and gain the confidence you need. And now, strategy number 1, set and share the agenda. Preparing an agenda helps create a roadmap for the discussion or meeting you're about to have, but many leaders unfortunately stop there. Sharing the agenda with your team in advance ensures that everyone has time to come to the meeting prepared. Not only that, it shows that you value your team's input and you're taking care of some of your more introverted and shyer team members as well. You're giving them time to think before they may need to speak. An easy way to share and set expectations for the meeting in advance is to send it by email or post it on a communication platform you have with your team. I recommend doing it at least 24 hours in advance. When you do that, here's a great phrase you can use to let everyone know why you're sharing the agenda. Please find the agenda for Tuesday's 10 o'clock meeting attached. In sharing it now, I expect everyone to come to the meeting prepared, and I anticipate a more successful outcome. Our second strategy for successful meetings and discussions in English is prepare your key points. Having an agenda is a great start, but it doesn't mean that you're prepared to share your ideas. How many times have you wanted to express something, to share an idea or a solution you had, but then in the moment you got stuck? Preparing in advance will help you have the confidence you need in the moment you're ready to speak. Whether you are the one creating the agenda or if you're reviewing an agenda that your boss has shared with you, here are some questions that can help you think about your key points in advance. What updates do I need to provide, and what details do I need to include? What ideas or questions do I want to bring up? What issues do I want to discuss and resolve, and why are these important? What challenges am I facing, or what do I need a decision on? And who do I need to thank or acknowledge? Of course, you may not have answers to all of those questions, and you may not need to address all of them. But going through each one will help you be more prepared and have time to think about the language you need to express what you want in the moment. Also, I recommend that while you go through those questions, write down any keywords that come to your mind. It's common for all of us to have a notebook or a piece of paper with us in a meeting. And if you've written down those keywords in advance, you can reference them quickly and make sure that everything you want to say is ready and you're prepared to do it successfully in the meeting. Strategy number 3 for successful meetings in English is determine and communicate the purpose of your meeting. This is one final preparation step you can take before you have your meeting. And what this really means is, what is the one specific thing or the one specific outcome you want from this meeting? Do you need everyone to agree on a way forward on a specific project? Do you expect to divide up numerous tasks among team members and have everyone walk away with clarity on what they're supposed to do next? Is the goal to get a thorough progress update? Communicating this purpose with your team along with the agenda will ensure that that primary goal is achieved. Strategy number 4, open the meeting with a positive tone and provide initial updates. Setting a positive, productive tone right from the start helps others feel comfortable when it's time for them to contribute their ideas. This means thinking carefully about how to open the meeting, including how to welcome everyone, create space for introductions if necessary, and provide any immediate updates right at the start. I'll share a few examples here in this video lesson, but you can get several more by visiting this lesson at my Speak Confident English website, and you'll find a link to that just below this video. A few common ways to positively open the meeting include starting with a greeting, good morning everyone, or good afternoon everyone. And then, now that everyone's here, let's get started. Or, I'd like to get started and welcome all of you to the meeting today. If introductions are necessary, here are a few ways you can get that started. Before we dive into the agenda, let's go around the room and have everyone quickly introduce themselves. Please be sure to include your name and your position. Or, I know most of you here, but I do see a few unfamiliar faces, so let's do a quick round of introductions. And then, when you're ready to introduce the agenda and provide any initial updates, here are a few ways to do that. As a quick reminder, our goal for this meeting today is, and then let everyone know the purpose of the meeting, or that one specific outcome you want to achieve. Another way to say that might be, by the end of this meeting today, we should have a decision on, and then the expected outcome. If there are multiple topics that you need to discuss, you could introduce them quickly by saying, we have a few items on the agenda to discuss today. The first is, the second, the third, and so on. As you review those sentences I just shared, you might notice some transition words or phrases. Things like the first one, the second one, and finally, or by the end of our discussion today. These transition words and phrases help to guide your audience so they know where you're going and what to expect at every step. And now, strategy number 5, model active listening skills. Recently, my Confident Women community spent 2 weeks exploring the world of soft skills. Soft skills include a mix of attitudes, character traits, and interpersonal skills that lead to productive communication and successful problem solving. Active listening is certainly an essential component of interpersonal skills. In a meeting or discussion, listening carefully and demonstrating that you're listening carefully lets others know that you value their contributions. Now, I have a full lesson on this topic of how to demonstrate active listening or powerful listening skills in English, so I won't go over all of that here. I'm going to highlight just a few key examples, but if you want to learn more about how you demonstrate, how you show that you're actively listening, I'll share a link to that lesson just below this video. In English-speaking culture, one way that we demonstrate that we're listening carefully is by maintaining eye contact, looking at the person speaking. Even if you're on a video call, you can still do this by looking directly into the camera. A second key component for demonstrating active listening skills in English-speaking culture is to use body language. Not only might you maintain eye contact, but we also tend to lean forward or lean in when we're listening to someone, and we might nod our head to show agreement or understanding. Once again, if you want to get more examples of how you can demonstrate active listening in English, be sure to check out my lesson on that topic. Strategy number 6 on our list is be ready to ask targeted questions. If you are leading the discussion or if you've called the meeting, everyone else is looking to you to guide the conversation along. The best way to do that, and the best way to encourage vibrant conversation, is to ask a variety of questions that are strategic, that elicit information or details, questions that help recognize others and their contributions, and questions that offer help if needed. Let's take a look at a few examples of each. And again, I provide several more examples of targeted questions you can ask in the online lesson, which you can find at my website, and there's a link below this video. Your strategic questions might include, based on the opportunities we have, what is the best way forward? Or, given these challenges, how should we proceed? Elicitation questions include, I'd like to hand it over to Cindy, who can share her thoughts on, or simply, what does everyone think about this? A couple of recognition questions are, how did your team accomplish this? Or who helped you with this project? And questions that offer help might be, what would help you the most right now? Or what resources do you need to achieve your ultimate outcome? Once you get the conversation going with targeted questions, you might find that on occasion the conversation goes off track or gets off topic. So strategy number 7, minimize off-track conversations and help others stay on point. If a discussion gets too far off track, it might result in not achieving the outcome or the purpose of your meeting. So to help everyone stay focused on the task at hand, here are a few things you can say. This is certainly an important topic that we need to continue discussing, but we'll have to save it for another time. For now, we need to get back to the agenda so that we can achieve our goal for our meeting today. Or, that's a great point, but we'll need to follow up on that in another meeting or after the meeting today. I really appreciate your idea on that. Can we explore it further in another meeting so that we can get back to the agenda for today? Once again, if you want more examples of how you can successfully get the conversation back on track, be sure to visit this lesson at my website. And now, strategy number 8 for successful meetings and discussions in English: say your point and stop talking. When we're nervous, when we're unprepared, or we're not getting the feedback from others that we expect, we have a tendency to ramble, To ramble means to speak without clarity or direction. We just go on and on and on. We repeat ourselves again and again. And ultimately, we speak without impact. Whether you're introducing a meeting topic or sharing your idea or solution, it's important to keep your comments brief. What that means is you say what you need to say one time and then stop speaking. Allow for a pause, some silence. That can be a little uncomfortable or awkward the first time, but those pauses allow for a few things to happen. They allow you to observe the reaction of everyone else and maybe get some visual feedback as to whether they understood or not. It also shows that you've finished speaking, and so if someone else has something to contribute or a question they want to ask for clarification, that's the perfect time to do so. If no one says anything at all, it may be an opportunity for you to move on to the next point. It's important to trust that when you have those moments of silence, others will ask questions if they have one. And if they don't, it's perfectly appropriate to move on to the next point. Strategy number 9, in a meeting, give thanks where thanks is due. A good leader will recognize the contributions of others. So when it's applicable, make sure to take time to recognize and praise what others have done. And the good news is this doesn't have to be a lengthy speech. In fact, it's more powerful when we keep our thanks limited to just 1 or 2 sentences. I like to include 3 key things when giving thanks or recognizing others. Include the name of the team or the individual, identify what they did or accomplished, and describe the impact. Here's an example. I'd like to take a moment to thank Anna for urging us to update our entire community on changes we're making to the platform. In doing so, not only did our community feel more engaged in this process, but they also shared with us their thoughts, which allowed us to make better decisions for our platform. And finally, strategy 10 on our list for how to lead a successful discussion or meeting in English. Summarize your key points and close with your action steps. This doesn't mean that you have to repeat everything that was said, but rather highlighting the key points and any significant decisions or tasks that have been assigned. Here are a few example phrases to help you do that effectively. We're getting close to our time, so let's wrap up with, and then summarize the key points, the key decisions, or the key tasks that have been assigned. A second option, if there are no further issues to discuss, I want to finish with a quick summary and highlight, and then once again, highlight those key points. If you want a few more examples of how to effectively summarize and close the meeting, definitely visit this lesson at the Speak Confident English website. And if you've had an aha moment while listening to this lesson today, a moment of insight, I'd love to hear about it. As always, you can share your questions and comments with me in the comment section below this video. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to the Speak Confident English channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.